What is up, guys? It is John from Side Hustle Experiment. Today's video, we're going to talk about how to avoid getting returns from Amazon. Someone asked me this on Instagram. They said they are getting a ton of returns. It's eating into their margins and they are not selling apparel. Apparel definitely is one of those categories that gets returned more often. But if you're selling normal products, there are definitely some tips and tricks that you could do to avoid getting returns, and I'm going to cover them. There is nothing behind me today because I recently just moved into a brand new townhouse. Super pumped for that, and I'm super grateful for Amazon because it wouldn't have been possible without that. So just super grateful for that. Super grateful for you guys. Just crazy time right now for me. If you're new to the channel, my name is John Muscarello. I've sold millions of dollars on Amazon at this point. Do this full time and show you guys how you can make money selling on Amazon. If you are into that, please subscribe to the channel. Please like it. The more that you guys like and subscribe, the more I could help other people. So we're gonna go through this paper towel because my paper is still packed up somewhere in this house, but wanted to get a video out there for you guys to give you guys something helpful. Really trying to be consistent, and that's really important in Amazon in general. I've definitely, not sourcing or not putting in the work. It gets easier and easier not to do so the longer you go. So just gonna get the YouTube video out there. Not gonna be edited just because ran out of time. Moving is very time consuming. So with all that being said, let's just get into it. So getting returns, how to avoid getting returns. Number one, look at the reviews. So if you scroll all the way down on an Amazon listing, you will see reviews. You want to shoot for 4 stars and above. Yeah, there'll be some with 1 star and 2 star and 3 star or whatever. But for the majority, you want to look for 4 and 5 stars and above. If products have like 2 or 3 stars, obviously people do not like that product. It's definitely more likely to get returned because they're going to be like, hey, I don't like this pen. I'm just going to return it. So that is a huge tip. Look at the reviews. Also, if you read the reviews too, sometimes a listing could be tricky. It almost looks like it's a 1-pack. So that's like, oh, 1 glass, but the title says it's 2 glasses. And you're like, well, is it 1 or 2? It's like, the profit's so high on this. Like, I'm just going to assume it's 1. Well, if you scroll down the reviews, a lot of people are going to be like, oh, the title says it's 2, but only 1 was sent. So that's a surefire way that you're going to get returns. People are noticing it. So you want to avoid stuff like that. Number 2, you want to source higher profit margin items. If you're buying 10 of an item, let's say you're buying 10 pens, all right, and you're going to make 50 cents on each one of them, or let's just say $1 for easier math, so that's $10. Well, if 1 or 2 of those gets returned, it's probably going to wipe your profit for the other 8 just because of Amazon's return fees. It's shipping back to you. If something gets returned a lot more, let's say half of those got returned, well, when you resell those other 5, they're most likely, you're probably going to get at least 1 or 2 returns more. So typically, the higher price the item you sell, this is not always the case, but the less returns you will get. People who are buying more expensive things tend to know exactly what they want and tend to not want to deal with the return if it's not exactly what they want. It just really depends. That's a very broad and general statement, but from my experience, that's been true. Obviously, this differs for apparel a lot. So let's just toss that aside. But typically the higher priced item, the less likely you are to get returns. And usually the higher priced item is the higher your profit. So if you're getting, let's just take that same example. If this pen was, I don't know, you're making $30 on each of these pens, and that'd be $300 profit if you sold 10 of them. Well, if one gets returned, right, that is definitely not going to wipe out all the profit that you made. So try to keep that in mind when you are purchasing stuff. Say, hey, in my head, it's like, all right, if I buy one of these, if one of these 10 that I bought get returned, will that wipe the profit for all of them? Now, sometimes it's hard to tell because you don't know what the return fees are, but I could tell you for sure if you bought 10 pairs of shoes, that you were making, let's just say for 10 of them, you're making $50, $5 per shoe. If one of them or two of them gets returned, that's definitely wiping all your profit. For apparel, you want to shoot for a lot higher. Maybe you're looking for like 35, 40, 50% ROI with at least like probably, I would say like $8 to $10 in profit is kind of what you'd want to shoot for. Obviously it differs, but by the product, but that's kind of what I would say for that. Number 3, look at the brand. So if this brand is getting returned a lot, let's say you bought from this one brand, well, maybe they make bad products. I would definitely stop sourcing from that brand, or maybe it's a certain product type. So for example, trying to think of a good example, but something that's kind of different for everyone. Let's just say, I don't know, like a pair of scissors that was like a medium sized, right? Everyone might think they need a medium pair, but everyone's fingers and hands are different. So a medium versus a small versus a large, I feel is more likely to get returned because people who are kind of in the middle could probably either go large or small. Most people know that they're a large or an extra large or a double XL or whatever. But when you're doing those smaller sizes, like a small or a medium, let's just be honest, sometimes people want to think they're still a small. Some people want to think they're a medium and not a large. But a lot of people know that, hey, I need a large or I need an XL. So that kind of stuff is less likely to get returned. Number 4, you're going to want to look at the stuff you're buying that is not getting returned. So look at everything you're getting returned. See exactly what is not and buy more of that. If you go into inventory labs, you could go to category profitability, and you could literally sort by how much profit you made from each category individually, how much revenue you made. I'm pretty sure they include returns, either the number or how much like money you paid in returns. So that's a really great report that you could do. I also have a video of how to determine ASIN profitability using inventory labs. I kind of show you exactly how I download the report and add some columns to show you return percentage and how much each item is actually making you. So go check out that video because that will show you exactly what I'm talking about. So that's another one to do it. And then in terms of apparel, I know a lot of people tend to avoid apparel. I kind of stopped sourcing apparel. But some pointers on apparel. One, you want to kind of avoid kids stuff. Not really, I guess kids. Infant stuff, not really that bad because people aren't really going to return that stuff. But little kid stuff, big kid stuff, a lot of parents, might not know their kid's size. Kids grow really quickly, all that type of stuff. So that stuff's kind of more likely to get returned. Unfortunately, it is what it is, but women's apparel, clothing, shoes, that stuff definitely gets more returns than men's clothing and shoes. So that's one. I kind of went into before with the sizes. Stuff of a smaller size and a medium, those sizes, from my experience, get returned so much more than a large, an extra large, a double XL, all that kind of stuff. Because, like I was saying before, people, if you're a double XL, like, you're double XL, and that's just fine. But some of those smaller, medium sizes are definitely a little rougher. And same goes, shoes obviously get returned more than like maybe just like a t-shirt like this. Just because, I don't know, people grow, they see it, they don't like the color. But if you're buying a black Cellaramp shirt, you kind of know what you're getting. And if you're not using Cellaramp, there is a link down below for a free trial. So those are kind of the 5 things I would look at. 1, look at the reviews. Make sure that it has positive reviews, like anywhere from 4 stars and above. 2, source higher margin products, higher price point products. 3, look at brands that are constantly get returned. Stop buying those brands. 4, look at what's not getting returned, the categories, the stores you're buying from. Buy more of that stuff. And then in general, for apparel, kind of stick with men's stuff, and maybe shoes, maybe hit or miss with shoes. But those are the kind of tips. Let me know what you think in the comments. How are you avoiding returns? What has your experience been? I would love to hear it. Please subscribe, like the video, share it, tag me on Instagram. I'll definitely share, and I will see you in the next video.